Thank you. Today's workshop, Introduction to the SEI Dashboard, Making Sense of Student Feedback Through Visualizations. I'm Alison Wong. I looked after the implementation for Student Experience of Instruction Survey for UBC. I'm joined by my colleagues, Tistash Mohammed, program analyst who's the mastermind behind the dashboards. Rebecca Mattel, our student co-op, student research analyst, should be helping us monitoring the chats and any questions throughout. All right. Here is a quick outline of today's session. On the next slide, I'll touch on what to expect today. And I'll spend about 10 minutes to talk about the background of student experience of instruction at UBC. And then we'll move into the SEI dashboards. And then finally, the exciting piece about a demo or a walkthrough of the instructor dashboard. And then, as mentioned earlier, we're hoping to stay 5 to 10 minutes at the end for Q&A. So that's that. What to expect today. At the end of this session, we hope you'll have a better understanding of student experience of instruction at UBC. We'll touch on the university module items, the reported metrics. We hope you will also gain an overview of all the available reports that we offer, and also learn which report to choose for different kinds of insights. Here. Student experience of instruction. SEI, we often go by SEI, SEI. So a little bit of history behind all this, how we got here today. So from back in 2005, UBCO inherited UBC Vancouver's Senate policy in the establishment of UBC Okanagan. In 2007, the Senate policy on student evaluation of teaching, back then we call it SEOT, was approved by the UBC Vancouver Senate. And this is meant to be a replacement of all earlier Senate policies on student evaluation. Fast forward to 2019, a working group was formed to review the SEOT process. And by May 2020, a report with 16 recommendations was presented to both Senates, and of which one of the recommendations was to name the process from student evaluation of teaching to student experience of instruction, and that's how we have the current name. And then by also in one of the recommendations in the report is to update the university questions. And so by fall of 2021, we implemented the new set of university module items. The next two slides are just the questions that we are currently using. It's implemented across all of UBC for both campuses. It's asked on almost 95% of all the courses that surveys that we run. Some exceptions would be practicum courses or individual-based learning courses that these questions doesn't quite apply. I'm not going to bore you with reading the questions. So we have 6 questions that uses a Likert scale that goes from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And 3 open-ended questions that are included in the university module. You can learn more about the questions in the link. There we go. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the metrics that we report out on the SEI data. The recommended minimum response rate, dispersion index, percent favorable, and interpolated median. First one, the recommended minimum response rate. So this is something that we've developed for quite some time in terms of looking at response rate and based on class size, how confident we can have with the data. So you can see that what you see here on screen here is a screenshot of the cover page of an instructor report. At the top here where this arrow is pointing, we have the class audience, so how many students are enrolled in the course, and then the number of responses that we received, as well as a response rate calculated in percentage. And with that, the recommended minimum response rate is listed in a table. The idea is for this course, for example, we have 215 students enrolled, and you can look up the recommended minimum response rate from the table. And for this course, it falls under the 150 to 299 students category. And for courses of this size, we recommend a minimum of 15% response rate for the overall survey. And in this case, for this course, we received 54%, so it's way above the recommended minimum. Before I get into the other three metrics, I thought I'll touch on a little bit about the data itself. The SEI data that we collect, they are categorical, but ordinal in nature. Ordinal means that it has a sense of order. Going strongly agree is higher or better than agree is higher than neutral, etc. UBC collects SEI data using a balanced Likert scale. For the university module items, we use a 5-point Likert scale going from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And for some faculty, we have questions that use a balanced 7-point Likert scale, going from entirely disagree to entirely agree, for example. A quick note on balanced Likert rating scales. They have an equal number of positive or favorable and negative or unfavorable response categories. Often, but not necessarily, center around a neutral response category. And it could have an even or odd number of response categories. Below the two images here are some examples. So even or odd number of response categories. And the one on the left here, we have a neutral response. This one is very basically the same as the one we use for the university module items, going from strongly disagree with a neutral in between and all the way to strongly agree. Or in the other case, without a neutral response, but the three on the left are 50%, are negative, and the three on the right hand side are positive. So the last point here, unlike unbalanced scales, the bounds of what is favorable are well defined. Right. So moving on to the other three metrics. First one I want to touch on quickly is dispersion index. It is a measure of data spread ranging from 0 to 1. 0 would mean that all respondents rated the same, and 1 indicates the respondents split evenly between the two extreme values. So in SEI data, dispersion index rarely exceeds 0.85. And what we observe is with such high dispersion, it often indicates that polarized rating, and it is often associated with surveys that did not meet the recommended minimum response rates. Some general guidelines included here in the table. Low dispersion would be anything less than 0.25, medium ranging from 0.25 to 0.5. High dispersion, we're looking at 0.5 to 0.85. And with extremely high dispersion, polarized ratings often would be the ones that are greater than 0.85. Here. The last two metrics, percent favorable is one of the easiest to understand ones that we capture here. It is simply the percentage of responses higher than neutral. So for the university module items, we are counting the ones that the students that are responded with agree or strongly agree. And interpolated median is an adjusted version of the median. It provides a more precise estimate of the middle point in all the node data. It considers the number of responses that are greater than the median, less than the median, and equal to the median. we often look at the relationship between the interpolated median and the percent favorable. On the right here, you see a scatter plot in which we plot the data points we receive for 2022 winter term 1 on question 5 of the university module items. You'll see that the data points fall into the top right and bottom left quadrants of the scatter plot. Statistically, data points cannot fall into the other two quadrants. And so in the upper right, we have say results that at least half of the respondents rated favorably. So the percent favorable is bigger or equal to 50%. And the lower left quadrant shows results that at least half of the respondents did not rate this favorably. And I just want to point out of note here, with UBC's data, we are actually a lot of data points fall into the top right quadrant here. So for example, in this question, 96% of all the data we collected are plotted into the top right quadrant. So not going to bore you more with more statistical terms. If you want to learn more about the metrics, we have a web page on the SEI website that talks about the metrics and details. There is also an article that was published by our colleagues, Abdul, who's now retired, and Liam Efedrin from the Faculty of Education. And then also in 2023, we did a workshop that focused more on the same metrics. The link is the recording. All right. Now, getting into a little bit of more exciting things, the SEI dashboards. Before getting into that, this is a quick screenshot of what instructors see currently with the instructor report from Blue. Blue is the survey system. So these are the reports coming out directly from the survey system. For the university module items, what we report out is at the top here, you see for each question, the blur portion is the actual number of responses for that question, how students answer those questions with a histogram just to give a little bit of visual. And then underneath, we have this table that I know it might be quite small, that gives the interpolated median IM percent favorable PF and dispersion index DI in here. So that's these reports are quite static, and each report is for each course that an instructor taught. So if you've taught 4 courses in a term, you will receive 4 of these reports. And over the years, that 1 report per year per course. So why the SEI dashboards? We developed these dashboards to complement the instructor reports on Blue. It provides the scatter plot that I showed earlier that displays interpolated median, percent favorable, dispersion index in context with all instructors and courses for a selected campus within that survey period. We also offer a trend line to visualize how the results change over time for a course. There's also a data summary table to support more streamlined reporting. So to access the dashboards, you can follow the link that's here on the pair website. The dashboards are only accessible from on UBC networks or on UBC via the UBC VPN. The two dashboards that I listed here are only available to deans and faculty and administrators. The first one, academic unit dashboard, it shows the survey results of the university module items calculated using the supported metrics that I showed earlier. The visualizations include scatter plots of that unit, so the faculty members in that unit. There's the results with faculty comparators, and then also percent of surveys completed trend line or course level SEI scores over time. The second dashboard, the SAC summary dashboard. It is developed based on the Senior Appointment Committee guidelines. Again, it is only available for deans and faculty administrators. This dashboard provides an overview of instructors' interpolated median and percent favorable with a departmental year-level comparator. Last dashboard we have currently is the instructor dashboard. It is available to instructors with who has survey results from the last 2 years. It shows the survey results of the UMI university module items calculated using the metrics. It provides visualizations for survey results in context with the campus aggregate. And we also have the data summary tables on this dashboard. As well, it includes all survey results from 2018 to present. And today, the demo will focus on the instructor dashboard. And here is a quick summary table of the reports and dashboards that are available. The first one I want to point out, the blue reports, currently that's the only report that contains the comments that we receive from students. We are looking into bringing those into the dashboard as well, so that's, stay tuned, we'll get there. With the dashboards, we also, what we are able to do as opposed, compared to the blue reports is to include historical data, their aggregates, and then as well as including the contextual aggregates. So for instructor, they have the contextual data with the campus, and for faculty and department level dashboard, they have the contextual data for their unit. And of course, the dashboard has the visualizations that we want to support and promote at UBC. So let's start. And we will move into a walkthrough. To get, this is the same link that I showed earlier. To get to the dashboard, you can go to the pair website. It looks like this on the right-hand side. And then you can select instructor dashboard. And again, just noting that please make sure you're on UBC networks or connected through the VPN to get to the site. So it will look like this. And once you click on it, it will bring you to Tableau server. If you're not on the UBC network, it will just spin. It won't do anything. So, which is why I wanted to reiterate the connection piece here. And from here, I'll hand it to Tistash.
Okay, thank you, Alison. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So I will go through the dashboard. So using the link that Alison mentioned, when you log in, first you land into this page. And the first page is a scatter plot. And on this page, you can also see the other visualizations, the other additional 2 visualization as listed tab. This one is the scatter plot, then the trend line, and the summary data table. So on the scatter plot, as you can see, we have here the title for the dashboard, and we have these 2 links. So one is for the definition of terms that are used in this dashboard. So when you click, it will take you the page that has the definitions. And when you click on the frequently asked questions, we listed some questions that will help to answer that instructors or users of the dashboard will have. So when you click, it will take you the frequently asked questions about the scatter plot. And then we have here, I'm going to start from the right to left. We have a short description about the scatter plot. And we have here a legend that explains what these different colors and shapes mean in the scatter plot. We have a link for the recommended minimum response rate if you want to go back and check the percentage that is required to meet the recommended minimum response rate. And we have a filter for campus pre and post. If you are usually if you are from Okanagan, you will select on Okanagan. And the pre and post is to separate the surveys before 2020 winter one and after, because the university module items questions are changed starting 2022 winter one. And then we have a filter for the academic year, session, and a list of questions. So the data that are presented in this demo, they are anonymized real data. So here in the scatter plot, we have on the y-axis, we have the percent favorable, and on the x-axis, we have the interpolated median. Interpolated median range from 1 to 5 and percent favorable from 0 to 100%. And the main purpose of this scatter plot is to visualize or to see those two measures hand in hand. Because before, or if we are looking at only one measure, it will not give us the full picture. So this scatter plot will help to see those two measures hand in hand. I will come back with an example later. So we displayed here all the 6 university module item questions on the first part from UMI 1 to 3, and on the bottom part we have question 4, 5, and 6. And here also we have a little description about what these orange lines means. And at the bottom we have here the full description. If you want to see the description of each question, it will be listed here. So these orange lines, as Alishan mentioned in the couple of slides above, divides the scatter plot into 2 groups. You can't see any point on these 2 quadrants. On the first quadrant and on the fourth quadrant, there will not be any score. That means there is no point that has the interpolated median of less than 3.5 and percent favorable of greater than 50% for this quadrant. And for this quadrant, there is no point where the interpolated median is greater than 3.5 and the percent favorable less than 50%. So this is a behavior we can see from this scatter plot. And as you can see, the other group is most of the surveys, all the surveys land into these 2 quadrants. And more than 50% of UBC survey land on the 4th quadrant. That means with a percent favorable of greater than 50% and interpolated median of greater than 3.5, and that is a good thing. So when you see, when you come to the different colors here, the light blue indicates all instructors and all courses for that selected campus, for that selected period, academic year, and session. And the dark blue point, be it inverted triangle or circle, is the instructor who logged into this dashboard if the user is accessing the instructor dashboard. And the red circle shows the campus aggregate. So when you hover over on the red point, you will see the academic year and session, the interpolated median value, and the percentage percent favorable value. And here, when you hover over, you will see the instructor name, the academic year and session, the course number, whether it meets the recommended minimum response rate, the interpolated median, percent favorable, and dispersion index. Here, the difference is it meets the recommended minimum response rate, and you can see that the recommended minimum response rate is yes. To see one example of why we need to see both measures hand in hand, say for example, let us take these 2 points. This is a student experience score for 2 courses. When you see or when we take only one measure, both the courses have the same value of interpolated median, that is 4. So if we are looking at only one measure, we can say that students express their experience the same for these for the two courses. But if we add the interpolated media, the percent favorable here, you can see the course that is at the lower is has interpolated median of 4%, favorable of 67%. But the course we have here in the upper one has a better percent favorable. That means for this course, uh, more students express their experience favorably as compared to this course. So having these two measures hand in hand will give more information, or will help to answer the question you have in context. And the other question that this scatter plot will answer is whether the the course met the recommended minimum response rate. You can see from the description here, or visually you can see looking at if it is inverted triangle, that means it doesn't meet recommended minimum response rate. But on the other courses that we see earlier, or I can change it here to the other term and see if it is circle, it meets the recommended minimum response rate. And it will give you information on how it falls in context with the overall campus. Or you can also see in context with the campus aggregate. So the scatter plot will help to answer this question and other related questions you have. Then the next one is the trend line. And on the trend line also we have the title, just like the scatter plot, the link for the definition and frequently asked question related to the scatter plot. We have a short description here and the same filters. Here on the trend line, we will see the behavior of the SEI experience for each course at a time. So you need to select one course at a time, and you will see the trend line if you taught or if an instructor gave a course for more than one term. If it is the course for the first time, it may be a single dot, but if the instructor taught this course for multiple time, it's possible to see the trend. So when you select the course, it will show you, like this one, for example, is just given for one term, so it will be a dot. But if we go to the others, it will show the trend line. And here, the one displayed are the 3 UMI questions. So it's possible to see only one UMI question at a time, up to 3. But if we select here all the UMI question, it will be a bit cluttered. So it is better to select like a minimum of 1 UMI question or maximum of 3 UMI questions. And this will help to answer what is the change through time, or how it is trending for each questions, whether it can be about the motivation or it can be about students' expectation, but it will help to answer how changed through time, how the student experience changed through time for a given course. Then the third visualization is the data summary. And this visualization, you can access all courses, especially if we compare it with the blue report, you will get it one report per each term. But using this data summary, you will get multiple terms at the same time, at the same point. So you can download and attach to any documentation you want. In addition, it has additional information than the other visualization. It will include it includes like the number of invited students, and it will help you to answer, okay, for the same class, how does my response rate change over time? Uh, for it can be for the same course, same class. Do you, did is the response rate getting better or not? The same for the recommended minimum response rate. And you have also the interpolated median percent favorable dispersion index in comparison with the campus aggregate. So it helps you to visualize to the course scores with the campus one. And also we can download this using the Tableau default download button here at the top or using this icon. And when you click on the icon, it will give you which format, Excel or CSV. And if you download using Excel, it will give you the same data with what you are seeing here. So you will, the download will look like this one. So it has filters, so you can users can filter by the course, by academic session and year. This basically we have the same filters for all questions. So these three different visualization will help to answer different questions for instructors who are using this dashboard. I think this is what we have for the student dashboard and instructors who have survey completed for the last year has access, but anyone who doesn't have access, they can reach to say support or directly email us, and we will grant access to the dashboard. And by this, I will conclude my demo. If you have any question, I think we can start the question or anything else, Alison.
Yeah, no, I can take it from here. But I was thinking, do you want to show the part where on the scatter plot where you can or instructors can download the plots as well
Yeah,
as a PDF or an
yeah.
image?
Using the Tableau default download,
Yeah,
uh, PDF or image, then it will download the visual that you see here. And it will download all the 6 UMIs together. So I will. So the download will look like this one.
yeah.
The
So
same, and it is the same for the trend line.
this will be
Uh,
useful if you want to include that
yeah,
in a
and
dossier. Yeah.
that's right. And also, this is just by default, all the courses for this academic period is selected, but if the instructor wants, they can only include the courses that they prefer to include on the download. And that applies for all visualization.
Great, thank you. I can take the share. Okay. So we have included in the slides, which I think just touch on when she walked through the dashboard, different tabs of the dashboard. But these are some of the examples that are questions that we hope to help answer with the dashboard. So, for example, on the scatter plots, how where does my course fall in the overall distribution of IM and PF compared to my campus? And did the the point also tells you whether if your course met the recommended minimum response rate. Trend lines, we're hoping that could help answer questions around how the IM and PF change over time, and any trends in the say results. And for example, if you focus on question 2, it can help answer how much do students in my course feel like if they feel motivated, or question 6, do students feel that they have learned a lot from my course? Are there any trends? Actually, when we did the user experience testing for the dashboard, some of the example that we saw was an instructor made a change in the course, and it actually show in the trend line whether it dropped or it increased, and then so that helps visualize the data and identify areas that you may be of interest. Data summary, again, it gives you a data table of all the courses that you select. So if you want to focus on one course, you can, and it's slightly easier to use if you just want to export data table to be included in the dossier or in some documents, or actually awards packages or application that's in the use case that we've seen. Compared to versus in blue, you can only currently do with manually copy and pasting each report table one by one. And so we hope the data summary table can give you a better summary, or like just all in one place, gives you data that you need. I think that wraps up our session. Actually, a note is we are actually releasing term 2 reports today. If you taught last term, then you will likely receive an email from, if you have submitted grades as well, then you will likely receive an email from us about getting the report for this term from Blue. In that email, we've also included the link to the dashboard. So that's pretty much it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at say.support@ubc.ca.